Hitler was the son of a junior civil servant who was born in Braunau in Austria, close to the German border. He was adored by his mother, but his father was strict and remote. Hitler said he was relieved when his father died. As a young man, he had a deep belief in his own importance and greatness, but this was not matched by his talent or ability. Hitler hoped to become a famous artist or architect, and when his father died, he inherited his state pension. He moved to Vienna to apply for art school, but was rejected. The money he had was spent living in the capital. Hitler was too lazy and disorganized to get work and saw it as beneath him. When eventually his money ran out, he lived as a virtual down and out in hostels for the poor. He had grown up in a culture where anti-Semitism was common, but in Vienna he was exposed to the ideas of politicians and conspiracy theorists who wrote books and pamphlets about the Jews. The city had a large Jewish population, unlike Braunau, and they were noticeable to Hitler, who could blame his own misfortunes on others. When the First World War broke out, Hitler was excited. He saw the war as an opportunity he'd been waiting for his entire life. He was medically rejected by the Austrian army, but crossed into Germany and joined the army of Bavaria. At the end of the war, Hitler had been wounded in a gas attack and was devastated to hear about the news of the armistice. Hitler joined a small fringe political organisation, the German Workers' Party, in 1919, and the following year it became the National Socialist German Workers' Party. The party had a 25-point programme that was designed to appeal to Germans who had experienced the humiliation of defeat and the Treaty of Versailles. The party was based in Munich and attracted members mainly in Bavaria. It grew by 1921 to 1,100 members, but this was still very small by the standards of national politics. He attracted ex-soldiers to the cause, such as the World War I fighter ace Hermann Göring, and created a paramilitary wing, the SA, or the Sturmabteilung, and who wore brown shirts and marched in the streets. Between 1918 and 1923, Germany experienced a series of political and social crises. The Weimar Republic was unstable and came under threat from communists initially. In 1923, Hitler judged that the time had come to overthrow the Republic. Germany was gripped by hyperinflation, and throughout 1923, and the Ruhr industrial region was occupied by French and Belgian troops that year. Hitler had seen how in 1922 the Italian fascist Benito Mussolini had led a march on Rome, and the king had appointed him prime minister as a result. With 20,000 SA men at his disposal, Hitler believed a similar takeover was possible in Germany. When he gained the support of the German war hero General Ludendorff, he knew that the time was right. Hitler took control of the Bürgerbrau beer keller in Munich. Local politics was often carried out in beer kellers. He held Otto von Lossow, the head of the Bavarian army, and Gustav von Kahr, the Bavarian prime minister, at gunpoint and demanded they join his revolution. He made the mistake of letting them go, and they sounded the alarm. He then waited in the beer keller all night for Ludendorff to arrive. By dawn the beer keller was surrounded, and when Ludendorff did arrive, he convinced Hitler that the army would join with them to overthrow the government. This did not happen, and the following morning the Nazis marched in Munich, shots were exchanged with the army, and 14 Nazis were killed. Hitler was arrested and put on trial, but during his trial, for the first time, he had national attention, as the entire national press were present. He knew the judge had sympathies towards him, and so he was able to speak openly in court. It was an opportunity for Hitler to articulate his views to the country, and he gained nationwide support as he accused the government of treason, not the Nazi Party. Hitler was sentenced to 5 years for treason, but served only 8 months. It was the most lenient sentence that he could have been given. He served his time at Landsberg prison, where he was allowed visitors, his own clothes, and spent time reading and dictating his future biography Mein Kampf to his most loyal follower Rudolf Hess. The Nazi Party was temporarily banned, but when Hitler emerged from jail he was determined to revive the movement and believed it had to be transformed. Hitler understood that an armed seizure of power would not work, Instead, the party had to win elections and had to organize itself like a mainstream political force. Lots of small Nazi parties had developed across Germany, some emerging independent of the main Nazi group in Munich, so in 1926 Hitler had to organize them into one national organization with himself as leader. He held a conference in Bamberg where delegates agreed the 25-point program of the Nazis. The party had over 100,000 members by 1928, but had failed to translate this into mainstream electoral success. The reason was simple. By 1925, Germany was emerging from political and economic crisis. Germany had become stabilized by American loans, and as a result, ordinary Germans were less inclined to look to political extremes in order to deal with their problems. In the 1928 Reichstag elections, the Nazis gained 12 seats. Within 4 years, the Nazi Party would be the biggest party in Germany, and the reason for this was the economic crisis that began in October 1929.